Hi everyone, and welcome to today's full-length class, and today is a yoga for core strength and stability. So if you don't usually join in the core strength classes, I will say they're not just to give you sort of that bikini ready midriff, but they're great for improving your posture and giving you that feeling of strength, stability and ease of movement as well. Your core supports all of your body, so by working on your core you're really helping to change how all of your body operates, which is one of the reasons I'm so passionate about this class. So this one, it should be suitable for absolutely everybody. It's good for people who've not done our core strength class before, and also those who usually do core strength, but maybe you've had a few months off. So when you're ready, we're going to come down onto the mat into semi-supine. Knees bent, feet flat to the floor, roughly hip distance apart. Closing your eyes or softening your gaze. Bring your awareness into your breath. And taking a few moments to connect with the flow of your breath today. Is that breath fast or slow? Deep or shallow? Does your breath feel warm or cool? Noticing if you're breathing into the front of the chest, the sides of the ribs, the back of the body, all the way down to the diaphragm, or if that breath is resting behind the collarbones. Feeling the properties of your breath today, without trying to control or judge. Simply acknowledging where you begin from in your practice today. Becoming aware of the points of contact through the back of your body with the ground beneath you. Scanning down, starting at the head, all the way down to the feet. And noticing where feels heavy on the earth, maybe the back of the head, between the shoulders, back of the hips, the buttocks, the feet. Where feels lighter on the earth. It's just a gentle meeting of the earth and your body. And where is the no contact between your body and the earth? The space under the legs, the back of the neck, the small of the back. If you feel it all uneven, so maybe one shoulder feels more heavily in contact, one hip, maybe you feel like there's quite a deep arch to your lower back, just moving in any way that feels right for you now. Feel more evenly spaced and spread on the earth. Both shoulders relaxed and down. Both hips in similar contact. Maybe breathing into the lower back to encourage the lower back to soften and sink down to the earth. And finally bring your awareness to your thoughts. Noticing if your mind feels calm, rushed, peaceful, busy, impatient, happy, anxious, distracted. Whatever is there this evening, so acknowledging, accepting where you come to tonight. Setting aside thoughts and worries from outside this room. This is your time and your practice. There is nowhere else you should be. Nothing else you should be doing. Your mind, your body, your breath, ready for your practice to come. And in your own time, when you feel ready, slowly start to roll the back of the head across the mat. With the inhale, taking the chin over towards one shoulder. And with the exhale, rolling the head, take the chin to the opposite shoulder. And keeping that slow roll going, working from side to side at the pace of your breath. And when you've taken the head an even number of times to each side, bring the head to rest back in the centre. Your awareness down to the knees and the hips. And as you exhale, both knees coming over towards the ground on the right hand side. You might feel the left hip start to lift, that's absolutely fine, but the left shoulder should stay down to the earth. Inhale to bring that back up to centre. And exhale, both knees coming down towards the ground on the left hand side. So again, the right hip might lift off the ground. The right shoulder is staying firmly in contact. Keeping that movement going from side to side with your breath. If it feels okay for you today, you can start to turn your head the opposite way. So as your knees go towards the left, your head rolls towards the right shoulder. Knees come to centre, head comes to centre. As the knees go to the right, the head rolls to the left. And again, thinking about taking that an even number of times in either direction. Bring it back to centre. Staying with this version with toes to the floor if that's right for you. Otherwise, bring the knees up over the hips. Taking the arms out at shoulder height, palms up towards the sky. So knees are over hips, lower legs are parallel with the earth. And as you exhale, taking the knees over towards the right hand side, head rolling to the left. Inhale, bring the knees to centre, the head to centre. Exhale, opposite twist. Taking the knees over towards the ground on the left hand side as the head rolls to the right. And inhale to come to centre. So remembering, you may have very different range of mobility, one side to the other. Trying to keep both shoulders firmly in contact with the earth all the time. Keeping that twist going. Working to the pace that's right for you and keeping the legs together, so treating them as one. Taking that an even number of times in each direction, coming back to centre, bringing your feet to the earth. Put down my mat a little bit, I'm just going to come back up. And then rolling over onto the right hand side. Legs can be straight or bent, knees stacked one on top of the other. And if you find this uncomfortable for your head, you can always get a cushion, a block, a pillow, box of cereal, anything just to give you a bit of head support under there. Both arms stretched away at shoulder height in front of you, palms one on top of the other. Taking a few moments just to scan down through your body. Are your shoulders currently stacked one on top of the other? Are your hips stacked one on top of the other? Or are you leaning too far forward or too far back? Your knees, your ankles, your feet, everything nicely aligned. And then when you're ready, inhale. Starting to lift that top arm towards the sky, your gaze following it up. And exhale, completing the arch, the back of the hand coming down towards the earth behind you. Inhale, arm arcing towards the sky. And exhale, palms coming back together in front of you. Keeping that going to your own pace. Your gaze following the moving hand all the time. You can do this with eyes closed if you prefer, especially if, like me, you're somewhere quite bright today. If it allows you to sort of come inside your practice, then just close your eyes. You know where your hand's going, just allowing your head to follow the movement. And when you complete your current movement, rolling over to the opposite side, I'm going to repeat that on the opposite side. I'm going to turn around on my mat, but for most of you, you can just roll to face the opposite direction. So in your own time, when you're ready, start by just scanning through your body. Shoulders stacked over one another, hips stacked over one another, knees, feet. And at your own time, inhale, taking one hand up to the sky, and exhale, opening fully, back of the hand coming to the earth behind you, feeling that twist coming through the full upper body. Inhale, head back up to the sky, and exhale, palms come together. Keeping that flow going at your pace. And completing your current movement, bring both hands to rest together, and in your time giving yourself a swing, a sway, or a push up to come up to seated. So coming to any comfortable seated position that's right for you, legs crossed, legs in lotus, half lotus, stretched away, kneeling, whatever is best for you today. And taking a few moments just to feel that breath drawing up the spine nice and long, creating as much space as you can to breathe deeply through the chest. Extending both arms ahead of you, palms down towards the earth, trying to keep the wrists at around shoulder height. And hold that there. If you feel happy to, closing your eyes, bring your awareness into your breath. Trying just to forget about what your arms are doing. Being the start of each inhale. Bring the expansion as that breath floods your chest. Feeling that pause point, that hold, that moment of fullness between the inhale and the exhale. And as you begin to exhale, noticing where the softness starts to creep in. Your body beginning to empty. And finally, that moment of emptiness, readiness for the next breath. That moment of complete stillness between the breaths. Working here for a few more rounds of breath. Noticing if there is a point at which you find your awareness starts to be pulled from the breath. And if it does, trying to bring your awareness back to the breath. And the shoulders soften down. If your mind starts to wander, bring it back to the breath. And at the end of the next exhale, open your eyes. Notice if maybe one arm or both have started to droop. And releasing down, letting go that awareness through the arms. Maybe rolling your shoulders back a couple of times to release. You might want to stretch one arm behind you. Let your body guide you, move in any way that feels right for you to release from that hold. Fantastic. Okay, we're going to come around and work with cat and cow, and we're going to try quite a different core strength type movement, which is going to play with finding your center of balance, your center of gravity from cat and cow. If you are not somebody who is, if you're not naturally very coordinated, you all know that I'm not. It's taken quite a lot of work. Because this is a new movement, I'm going to suggest you bring a couple of cushions or pillows with you now, because there is potential for this movement we're going to work with for you to basically face plant onto the floor. Not a very yogic term, I'm aware. So possibly bring yourself some padding just in case your balance isn't quite where you think it is today. I don't know if you noticed from my voice, I'm quite nasal at the moment. Hay fever season has started, for me at least, and that can affect any of you stuff with hay fever as well, finding that balance. So maybe just get some cushions. If you don't need them, brilliant, you won't even touch them, but they're better to have them there than not. So coming around to all fours, we're going to start with our cat and cow movement. So hands roughly under the shoulders, and starting by arching up through the back, making space between the shoulder blades, and the head and the neck coming heavy, the gaze towards the knees. As you inhale, the gaze starting to lift, shoulders sinking down, tummy sinking down, tailbone lifts. Keeping that movement flowing from one end of the spine to the other. And when you've taken that movement an even number of times to each side, bring yourself back to a flat back and neutral spine. We'll start to work to lift one hand off the mat and the other. And what I want you to be really aware of is how you're changing your body. Are you swinging the hips? Are you drawing back? Are you dropping your tummy down to create an arch? How do you change your body to keep your balance? Okay? And what I want you to try and do as much as possible is to keep your center of balance where it is now. So if you think about where your navel is right now, imagine there's a line down to the mat beneath you, and that is your anchor. That is where the core of your body is going to try and stay. So we've done this one before. So when you're ready, as you inhale, lifting your arm forward, exhale back down. Inhale, opposite side, lift the arm forward, exhale down. Inhale, lift your arm out to the side. Exhale, back down. Inhale, opposite arm, opposite side. Exhale down. Inhale, sweep your arm backward, palm up towards the sky. Exhale down. Inhale, opposite side. Lift, sweep your arm backwards, palm up to the sky. And exhale down. Keep that going through both arms. We're going to go through that a few times, just lifting one arm and seeing how your body compensates. Does your body put more weight down through the remaining hand? Does your body shift, draw back? It has to do something to compensate for that limb coming off the floor. So notice what your body is starting to do. That's all we're looking at right now. It's a nice little shoulder opener as well. Mostly I just want you to become aware of how your body compensates that changing movement. And completing your current round of movements. Noticing how your body moves. And so we're going to start the new one. And this is the one where you might want to have your padding on your mat just in case. Because where we have been looking at lifting one limb, we're going to try lifting two. It's important you keep your gaze either sort of between the hands or forward if you've got your head turned to one side to watch the camera. You'll find your balance is off straight away. Take any adjustments you need, so it might be that you feel like you need your hands maybe your knees a little wider. It might be that you think maybe I just want to sink my seat back very slightly. Inhale, lifting one arm. And then seeing. I think it's going to be a lot easier to start backwards for me today, lifting one arm. And exhale, lifting the other. Lowering back down. Inhale, lift one arm, opposite direction. Exhale, lift the other. And lower back down. So it's next to impossible to keep your core exactly where it begins in this movement. But what you can do is think about that strength, maybe lengthening and shortening. So as I lift my arms forward, I draw back slightly. My core is still over the same place. I've just lifted my chest a little bit. So rather than sitting back, which makes it very, very easy to lift my arms, I've sort of lifted my chest, but I've kept my bum stacked over my knees. So this is quite a good one to play with, to have a feel of how, if you can lift your arms back, forward and out to the sides. So give that a little go for the next minute or so. As you get more used to the movement, you might find that you can do it a little bit more easily. You can also try doing this from elbows and seeing if you can lift from there. So what's that second arm? So try from hands, try from elbows, forearms. Work with that control that you have. Try and keep the core nice and stable, the core's drawn towards the spine as you lift and lower. If you find this digs on your knees, make sure you get extra padding. Your knees are having to sort of continually adjust for a lot of these movements. So if you've got a hard floor or knees that just don't really like kneeling that much, get yourself a blanket, get yourself a fold in your mat to protect your knees. Notice how that movement changes as you lift, as you lower. Now, if you're starting to get quite confident with this, you can even try as you lift the arms. Also put a bit of a twist in. Can you try twisting from your lifted position? What I really want you to focus on is getting those hands off the floor, that weld. Sometimes we feel as though someone has taken a welding tool, attached our hands to the floor, all of our weight coming through. There is no way we could lift those off. Getting the hands off the floor, maybe even by going to tripod hands. Maybe your hands aren't quite ready to come off today. Seeing or getting that lift. Fantastic. Okay, pulling back to pose of a child for a moment, just taking a rest, taking an easy breath. And then coming back up to your all fours, to your lead position. So what we're going to work with now is lifting and lowering hands free. So again, put your padding underneath where your head is going to be if you think you might need it. So we're going to start by lifting both hands, bring them behind the back. So you can literally just hold on to your wrists. You can come to reverse prayer if that is comfortable. You can hold on to the opposite elbow. It is whatever works best for you here. So finding that position where you've got your hands behind your back. And then working with control as you exhale, slowly, lowering forehead down towards the earth. Noting how the tailbone extends away. Noticing how the core can control the balance, control the speed. And as you inhale, lengthening tailbone to crown of the head. And slowly lifting all the way up to high kneeling. Keeping that going and noticing the points at which you find that movement quite simple, quite familiar. And noticing the points where you think this isn't something I do very often. This is giving me a bit of a wobble or a bit of uncertainty. Sometimes these poses can be as much about mental uncertainty as physical. So, exhale, lowering forward. Trying to extend the crown of the head, the tailbone, as far away from each other as possible. So bring your head as far forward on your mat as you can. And inhale, raising up once more. So the idea of bringing the head as far forward as you can, creating that space, head to knee, is that if you take the bottom way back, it's a really easy movement, but trying to keep the hips forward and therefore the head as far forward makes this movement more about core strength and balance. Obviously take that adjustment, take your hips as far back as you need to make this work for you, but only as far as you need to. Don't take it as far as you want to. Maybe you're not like me, maybe your body doesn't try and cheat you out of your full range of movement. Mine definitely goes, you know what, this is easier, we can counterbalance this. Making this your last movement. And then coming round. Sit with legs stretched in front of you. Spine nice and long, sitting in Dandasana. So staff pose, nice upright pose, shoulders relaxed down, gaze forward, toes drawn up to the sky, pressing into the heels. And taking a few rounds of breath. Trying to be certain that at no point in this are you going to start to sag, sink back. I'm exaggerating this a little bit. You keep the core drawn in, the shoulders drawn back. You're nice and neat and upright. This is your 3-year-old child pose. They're very comfortable sitting in this wonderful upright posture. We just gradually lose that core strength as we get older and we start to slouch. Taking the next few breaths here. With each inhale, drawing up a little taller, lengthening crown of the head to tailbone. With each exhale, breathing out, letting go of distractions. Anything out from outside your mat. And bring your awareness back into your breath. In your next exhale, releasing that engagement through the body and noticing where you start to release. So is it that you slouch? Is it that you round your shoulders or relax them in a different way? Is it you feel tension maybe lower down? Do you feel like the engagement is coming from your legs, your knees, your feet? Where did you relax? Brilliant. And coming round. Bring the soles of the feet together, the knees nice and wide. Taking hold of the feet, the ankles, around the front of the shins, and gently rocking that side to side. So this is your rocking Baddha Konasana, your rocking cobbler. I always think of this one much more like a happy baby. I know it isn't a happy baby pose, similar muscles. But to me, this is what your happy baby does. They rock, they play. And babies have wonderfully open hips. Okay, fantastic. Taking hold around the big toes. If for any reason coming to hold the big toes is a little far away, you can also get a belt or a strap, just put it around the outside of the foot. You can hold onto that instead, but just round one foot for this one. You'll need to keep swapping it side to side. But if you have to round your back, take hold of the toes, put your belt around your foot. So starting with the right foot, as you inhale, lifting the foot, stretching out, finding your balance point, noticing how your body shifts again. And as you exhale, bring that back in. Other side. Inhale, lift the foot, stretch out. And exhale back in. Doesn't matter if your legs don't come completely to straight. We're just starting to play with the balance to see how our core adjusts. And really importantly, trying to keep the spine long. If you're rounding the back to get the legs straighter, draw that chest up and through. And just go as far as your body is ready to today. If this is not doable for you, if it's not comfortable, for any reason this doesn't feel right, then we're going to work with just stretching that along the floor instead. So it takes away some of the core strength element of it, but you get a stretch. So if that balance is not right for you, instead of lifting the foot, you're going to slide it away along the earth and just work with your stretch there. If you are happily working with your balance, let's try taking that up a level. So it's rocking back slightly until both feet are off the floor. You've found your balance point on the back of your sit bones. And then trying your extensions there. One leg and then the other. Very aware because of the difference in the angles on my phone, which is recording this class, to our usual camera. As it looks back at me, I've got giant feet coming towards the camera. So I apologise for the giant feet, which may also look quite mucky. Been out in the garden with those shoes on this morning. Seeing how your balance plays with that. Are you naturally taking the foot forward, or are you taking it more upwards? Are you taking it out to the side or straight in front of you? Once you know what your body's naturally trying to do, sorry, I can't talk and move, I'll fall over. But once you know what your body's naturally trying to do, is it trying to go forwards, out, up? See about trying the opposite. Again, it's this playfulness, and it's getting out of your usual patterns of movement. So if your body always wants to extend up at about 45 degrees, what happens if you try and extend further down in 45 degrees? What happens if you try and take that a bit wider, take it further out to the side? What happens if you take it almost straight forward? You have a whole plane of movement to work with in your sort of half a globe over this side where you're stretching one leg. So don't always go to the same quadrant. Have a nice little play with different areas as you do this movement. When you've had a little play there, again, assuming you're quite happy with your balance, you're going to try extending both legs out together. Trying to keep them around a similar angle, but again, you can have a play. So if the first time you extend them both at this sort of angle, next time maybe try taking them lower. Time after that, what happens if you take them higher? Can you take them further forward? Can you open wider? So this balance when I demonstrate it with my arms and my legs, but also I can get that range of movement to show you what I mean. The movements with your legs will still be possible at different angles, but they're going to be more subtle than I can achieve with my arms, which require very little strength to maintain that movement. So opening wide, extending the legs out, and bring it back. Trying a very different angle. And bring it back. Is it your balance or your flexibility? Is it your core strength that tells you this way doesn't work as well for me? I should probably term this class Know Thyself, because that's very much what the focus is today. It's on knowing why your body does different things, how it does them, and how you can play with it to change it, because it's that playfulness, that change that's going to give you the strength that you're looking for. And when you've completed your current set of movements, rolling back to your back, bringing your knees in towards your chest, gentle spinal rocking from side to side, starting to release that out, and then with one hand to each knee, start to draw a little circle in the air, rolling over the back of the pelvis. And then changing direction and rolling the opposite way. Left foot down to the earth. And bring both hands around the front of the right knee, squeezing in towards your body. If you want to make that stretch a little deeper, stretching the left leg fully away along the earth. And holding there for a few rounds of breath. Changing sides, bring the right foot down to the earth. The left knee in towards the chest, squeezing in there for a few rounds of breath. Keeping the shoulders relaxed and down. And remember, if you want to make that stretch any deeper, stretching the right leg away. And releasing the left leg down to the earth, coming to either Shavasana with both legs stretched away, or semi-supine with knees bent. Stretching both arms up towards the sky, palms facing each other, roughly shoulder width apart. And as you inhale, stretching the hands up towards the ceiling, feeling the shoulder blades lift off the mat. And as you exhale, one short, sharp exhale, dropping the shoulder blades back down in sockets, back down to the mat, keeping the arms straight up to the sky. Working with that inhale, length and extension out, feeling that width coming between the shoulder blades across the back. Exhale, softness, release, letting go. Keeping going to your pace. At the end of this next breath, making yourself comfortable on the earth for relaxation. So in any position that's right for you, be that remaining in semi-supine or Shavasana. Maybe you want to come the legs up the wall or seated against a wall. Especially if you have a cold, hay fever, anything like that, seated can be more suitable. And then closing your eyes or softening your gaze. Bringing your awareness into your breath. Taking a few moments to connect with the flow of your breath at the close of your practice today. Is that breath fast or slow? Deep or shallow? Does your breath feel warm or cool? Feeling the start, the middle, and the end of each breath. Each breath is complete, separate from the one before it and the breath to come. Your mind begins to wander. Each breath is a chance to begin anew, a fresh start. Simply bring your awareness back to the breath. Inhale, exhale, release. Releasing distractions, releasing worries, releasing anything holding you back today. Releasing physical tension in the body, relaxing the shoulders, softening the jaw, the cheeks, muscles around the eyes. Allowing a wave of peace and relaxation to wash over you. That feeling of peace and relaxation wrapping around you like a warm blanket. You have a little cocoon, a sleeping bag, made of peace and relaxation. Your quiet space to grow, to rest, to ready yourself for anything life has to bring. Resting here for the next few moments until you hear my voice again. And slowly starting to bring awareness back once more. Taking a moment to check in with yourself, seeing how your practice left you feeling mentally, physically and spiritually. Noticing any changes in your breath from when you began today. And slowly in your own time, starting to reintroduce movement to your body. Maybe to your fingers and toes. Maybe starting to roll the back of the head across the mat. Gradually making those movements bigger, stretching out, curling up, moving in any way that's right for you. And as you start to ease back into your body, in your own time when you feel ready, Rolling over onto the right hand side, taking a few deep breaths. And as you do, allowing the eyes to reopen. Your body and your mind readying to return to the rest of your day. And gently giving yourself a push up to come to seated. Bring your hands together at your chest in prayer to close. And going today with peace, compassion, contentment. Namaste.